Okay, so we are doing lesson check day 1 for finding equations of lines. Question 1, we are finding the slope of a line passing through 2 given points. So the first thing that I like to do is write out my slope formula, which is, we have m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now remember, your y's are always your vertical, so that's rise over run. And your x's are always horizontal, so that's going to always be in the denominator. So let's look at number 1. We have our 2 points, and I always like to label them x1, y1, and x2, y2. And then I can just easily plug them into my slope formula. So I have m equals y2, which is 8, minus y1, which is 0, over x2, which is negative 6, minus x1, which is 2. And then we just go ahead and simplify this fraction by adding across the top and adding across the bottom. So we'll get 8 over, and then negative 6 minus 2 is negative 8. And then we can simplify this fraction to negative 1. I'm going to let you guys do number 2 by yourselves. And let's look at number 3 for a second. If we label our points x1, y1, and x2, y2, you guys are going to notice when you plug these into your slope formula, you have y2, which is 8, minus y1. Now y1 is negative 1, so you want to make sure that you're also writing that negative in there. All over x2 minus x1, which is negative 3. And when you subtract a negative, those both become positive, so then we have addition. And then you guys can go ahead and simplify across the top, simplify across the bottom, and simplify. Now, on 4 and 5, we don't necessarily need to use our slope formula. We still can using these 2 points, but we don't really need to because we can use our rise over run, and we can just count. So let's start at this point down here. Our rise, we're going to be going up up to our second point, which is up here. And we can just count how far we went up. So we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh look, it wrote it there for us. So our slope is going to be our rise, which is 7, over our run. So still start down here at your bottom point and count your run. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our run is 6. So that would be our slope. And then you can go ahead and do the same thing for number 5. Go ahead and flip it over to the back side. These questions are all relatively similar. We're using the information to write the equation of a line. Now remember, we have our equation of a line is y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope and b is your y-intercept. I'm going to abbreviate that. So we have our y-intercept and our slope, and so we are using the given information and just plugging it into that equation. So we have y equals our slope, which in this first one is 1/3, and then write your x, so 1/3 x plus your y-intercept, which it says is 6. So the other ones are relatively similar. They might say m or b, y-intercept or slope, but you guys should know how to plug those into that equation then. And that's all.